watch my stuff regularly may notice that some of the shots are from DVR instead of HD footage. And that's due to a little incident earlier in the day. Our first flying location takes us along this great ridge. During our first few flights, we had seen a large bird also surveying the ridge. A couple times we'd even mistook him for one of our own aircraft. After a few successful flights, including a great chase flight with my Flywoo Explorer following a Nano Goblin, we were doing some Nano Goblin versus Nano Goblin action. The wind was picking up, but still nothing these little goblins can't handle. Unfortunately, all we didn't expect was that Mr. Eagle was not enjoying this threat to his airspace, and Nano Goblins are small enough and slow enough he figured it was time to flex a little. Suddenly my plane is tumbling wildly. It does seem to right itself, and I thought I might still have control, but only for a short while before it gets into a hard spiral. At the time we had no idea what had happened, but my friend who had been on audience mode and watching me swore he saw a brown blur. Rewinding and slowing the video tells the tale. He likely dived into it, hit it hard, and almost certainly did structural damage. You can see my Insta360 Go 2 flying off as the Goblin flips end over end. After that it tumbles to the ground and comes to a rest. I still have video feed but no camera. Crossfire is still connected. Unfortunately, it is not in an accessible area, and even if the plane could be reached, the Go 2 is somewhere else and probably impossible to locate. So that's the tale of my Nano Goblin Go 2, but that's not the end of the saga for this day. After we shifted locations, now my confidence was somewhat diminished, but I was flying my relatively new Ritewing Nano Drak, and I ended up having an eerily similar repeat of another incident with my S800 where I almost lost the plane. Perspective and location are tricky in the mountains. Only now, seeing the track displayed on Google Earth, can I really see what happened. From the ground, it looks like I should be able to fly the whole way around the bowl, which is what I was trying to do, but we can see that my radio signals are going to be blocked by the ridge the further in we go. I can also see why I turned the wrong way from what I had in my head, as that was actually the quickest direction back towards home. On top of it, I had forgotten to set up the return to home to be always set for extra, and so it was already at the highest altitude or above the highest altitude, so I happily turned around without doing any climb. At this point I was thoroughly confused. I expected to regain video very quickly, but now I was getting telemetry lost errors, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. In fact, I was already contemplating the fact that I had just lost another airplane, as well as my Insta360 Go 1. Thankfully, it cleared the ridge, just barely. I got telemetry back, and shortly after that, video returned. Thankfully after that, things went most smoothly, at least for me. There were a handful of crashes on launch, which did lead to some damaged planes. We are 2,000 feet higher at this location than our normal flying area, and 2,000 feet is enough to decrease prop and wing performance, and it showed. Launching was harder, climbing was slower, the planes just felt like they were tired. Only my Nano Drak still felt like a speedster to me. Well, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and until next time. Oh, and by the way, one of the things that's made it so easy for us to be able to chase each other on this trip was we've been using iNav radar. If you don't know what iNav radar is, it uses small ESP32 LoRa modules so that the aircraft can share location data and display it for each other. The system is designed for analog, and unfortunately it doesn't work for the DJI FPV system, which is what we're all running. However, I've been working on a fork for iNav to make that usable using the craft name hack, and it's made a big difference in terms of being able to find each other in the air. I'll have more details on that in a later video, but I'll also have a link in the description to the project so you can take a look.